Smart pills and robots, are these just a couple of the trends influencing the workplace in 2017? Joining us to discuss her predictions is best-selling author Faith Popcorn, CEO of Brain Reserve, the futurist marketing consulting company she founded in 1974. Welcome, Faith. It's so great to have you here.
Lovely to meet you.
You have been called all sorts of amazing things, such as the Nostradamus of marketing by Fortune magazine. You advise some of the world's biggest companies. What is your secret to predicting the trends of the future?
This is crystal ball in this martini. You know what it is? We have two incredible pieces of intellectual property. One is Faith Popcorn's Trend Bank, and this Trend Bank we've been tracking for 40 years. It's comprised of 17 trends, and it's been 95% correct.
What are some of those trends in the 17?
Well, like cocooning, people staying at home, 40 years ago. We positioned the first IBM home computer. We predicted the home at work craze. And continuing, we said the four-wheel drive vehicle would come. I mean, it's been incredibly accurate. And now we're talking to Watson about maybe working with him to predict. So
amazing. All right, so let's delve into specifically some of your predictions for the workforce.
Okay.
Tell us what these smart pills are and why you think they will proliferate.
Well, you know, as jobs are being eliminated, the UN is predicting 90% replaced by robots. Right now, in many companies like Samsung, Apple, 30% coming in. They're being conservative, not to scare people.
Wow.
We have to come to work incredibly smart. And the smart pills are something that, you know, is kind of enlivening us. So there's some, you saw the movie Limitless. So that was probably about, you know, Adderall.
Right.
People so just popping them, ADHD drugs.
But these are legal over-the-counter drugs you're talking about.
No, they're prescription. They're prescription. You just go to your doctor and say, oh, I think I have ADHD, and, you know, there you are. Also, a drug called Provigil is being used a lot on Wall Street, and this is a narcoleptic drug. So, you know, people that fall asleep, narcolepsy, this, like, picks you up.
Wow.
So that drug is also be using hyper-focus, hyper-intelligence. And the end of that, or the next thing you're probably wondering about, is the chip. We're not going to need this. Pharma industry, beware, because it's going to be a little chip that's going to be inserted for a brain boost.
But this doesn't sound safe to me. Is all of this safe?
Well, it's...
Or that's relative.
It's relative. It's safe if you want to keep your job.
Right,
and
right.
It is not dangerous. I mean, actually, the Adderalls and the Provigils, they've been around for a long time, Concerta. So, but people are just taking them because they just have to, 24/7, right?
Yeah, it's scary. It's a little scary. No comment on whether this is good or bad. This is just a trend you're observing. You also say, get ready for the freelance army to take over.
Yes.
You think freelancers will become the majority of the U.S.
Well, it's
workforce?
already happening. People have 2, 3, 4 gigs, you know. They don't want to be owned by a company. There are also a shortage of jobs, so they're liking to kind of be, it's not only freelance, it's like pop in and pop out.
Right.
But, you know, I think right behind them are those robots, and I think they know it.
That's really scary. But you say, hey, you know, HR is getting ready to offer you some vacation perks in the form of virtual reality.
Yes. So actually a very quick vacation is to put on a virtual reality mask, and we predicted virtual reality through the Trend Bank so many years ago, and now it's, you know, an everyday household item. You put it on, go to Bermuda, go to Mexico, you know, forget the immigration problem, you're just traveling.
That reminds me of Total Recall and lots of Hollywood movies.
Exactly.
The future is here. Now, you predicted that Donald Trump would win the election.
Yeah.
And you also talk about how some of the political, protesting that we're seeing right now is influencing companies. Consumers are making their political inclinations known.
Yes. So this is, I'm going to show you like a trajectory, and then we can get together in a little while and you can see if, you know, if I was right. What happens is we're starting to protest with our wallets, right? So we're saying we're not buying Ivanka clothes. That's kind of obvious. We're not going to take an Uber because, you know, the owner is on the council with Donald Trump.
Starbucks ended up on the other end of this.
Yes, Starbucks will say they're lovely. They'll say they will hire, you know, any immigrant. So it begins there. But where does it really move? So you see this woman's march. You see this energy and this anger. And it's not just about, you know, abortion or Donald Trump, it's just there, right?
Right.
He activates the woman's revolution. I don't think he meant to do that, but there it is, activated. And they turn slowly from politics to Fortune 200. And they say, you know, how many women are in positions of authority?
So you see this force directly affecting companies.
This will affect the Fortune 200. We will not buy from companies that we feel don't support us, that don't hire, you know, females, that are not good to their people, that use bad ingredients, that abuse farmers, whatever it is. That energy just goes bang on the Fortune 200.
So really voting with their pocketbook. And finally,
Totally.
I'm just curious, do you find your ability to predict trends helps you play the stock market?
Well, yes, it does.
It does?
But I don't usually give stock market advice.
Right.
You know, but absolutely.
I mean, just for yourself personally.
But for myself, look at nootropics.
Right, right.
You know, this new company called Nutrabox. The people at Facebook and Twitter, the investors, early investors, invested in Nutrabox. So sure, you can see, if you're talking smart and you see a company, it's not all there is to it, trends, because you have to see how it's run, of course.
Sure.
But for sure. The idea that Facebook would go through the roof, Twitter, the idea that we would want cars, driverless cars, even though Detroit's going, no, not yet. No, right away.
We're here.
So,
The future
yes.
is here. Faith Popcorn, thank you. Fascinating conversation.
My pleasure to meet you, really, Tanya.